All right, so I'm super excited. I'm joined by two of the best in the business. These two guys are actually my friends. I get out to Arizona quite often and visit them, but they're leading the charge over at AZ Compass Prep. I got Coach Ed Gipson, and I also got Coach Pete Kaffey. Coach Gipson is the national team head coach over there, amongst a lot of other things. And Pete Caffey, a longtime friend of mine, is a program director and also a coach. He's kind of the guy behind the scenes, making everything happen. So I'm super excited to have both of you guys on here today.
Appreciate it,
Appreciate
Jeff.
you having us, Jefferson.
Yeah, for sure. So, what I want to talk with through today, guys, we're just going to talk a little bit about the success of AZ Compass Prep. You guys have burst on the national scene the last 2 years in particular, but this year on a different level. I've actually had a chance to witness your guys' success, and the excitement behind it is tremendous. And again, that's to attest to the program and the players and the coaches that you guys have there. But tell me a little bit about some of the highlights this year, maybe a couple cool stories, some of the cool things that happened for you guys in this tremendous season.
You go ahead, Coach P. You can start.
Well, this year was an amazing year for us. Just the accomplishment we had, winning 30-some games. I think 30 games and losing 2 games. And the 2 games we lost were to the team that won the whole thing, Montverde. This year started, Coach Gipson always say this, not everybody is for us. So when we start recruiting players, we start recruiting families as well. I think, we did a really, really good job getting the right guys at Compass. So that was the start of this amazing season, just getting the right pieces. It didn't start off right. We lost 2 top players that transferred out. One of our top players got hurt, so we were stuck, Coach Gipson and I, we met, we were like, what we're going to do, there's high expectations because we had a really good season the year before, but fast forward to the summer, we were able to, talk to Tata and his family, build around him, got a couple commits from some guys out of state, some great kids, some great basketball players too. Coach Gipson does a really, really good job getting these kids in early and just programming these kids on how to play together. The culture he has built, from day one since he took over the job, it's been crazy. So that's the reason why you saw what you saw this year. Kids going out there, it wasn't about the rankings. I think we only had one ranked player, which was Tata in the top 100, and we went out there and competed against some of the best teams in the world, in the country, and you saw what happened this year. So the culture speaks for itself. Coach Gipson does a really, really good job, and we had a really, really good season.
Coach Gipson, so you guys had a couple really close, high-intense games. I was seeing highlights on social media all the time of you guys making key stops at the end of the game, hitting big-time shots. Tell me about maybe 1 or 2 games this year that you really saw your team stick up for you. You saw your team really fight through and come through in a clutch win for you guys this year.
I would say the first one that come to mind was the BFL game. That was a game where it was like, you had the kid Paulo. That's pretty much, I think he like the #1 ranked player in the country, if I'm not mistaken, going to Duke. That was a big time game for us. And they had like several other kids going to Creighton, Arizona. They had a team pretty much was comparable to ours, like as far as like the caliber of players. And we got down in that game, I really felt like our kids showed like what we were built on, like Coach P said, the culture. Guys pulled through at the end. I want to say we was down like 10. We made a big comeback. We got like, I want to say, I told them in the huddle, I said, we got to pull together about 3 stops in a row. Like they pulled together like 4 stops in a row, which I was like, okay, then here we go then. And guys just made the right plays. We shared the ball at all the right times. And I think that's kind of like that little sequence right there. It's probably about like a little 7-minute sequence was probably like the bulk of who we are, and it just didn't start this year. Like, I think like us in a nutshell is like Coach Pete had a vision, like, man, it's like 4 years ago, right, Pete? If I'm not mistaken. And he really believed that like we could be a national contender. We'd go to Geico. I'll be honest with you, Jefferson. I didn't, but I think Coach Pete, man, he a visionary. And he started to explain everything to me and how we were going to go about doing it. And I mean, literally what you saw this year is like, it actually coming into fruition like all the way. Like last year we were good, but this year everything all came together. And I mean, what you saw in that game, that last game when Tata drove, passed it to the guy right to his right, and he hit the game-winning shot. That's literally what Coach Pete did with this program to me. You know, he really kind of orchestrated everything. Like he the brains. I'll be honest with you, he the brains behind pretty much all of it to me. And don't get me wrong. Like I know, like our vice president Zy Owens, he played a huge part. Our owner Miss Owens and our president Swim. But like Pete really saw the vision. You know what I'm saying? And he got me to catch the vision. And so like even like with a lot of these kids, you know, I recruit a little bit, but Coach Pete do a lot of the recruiting too. And I think he the brains behind a lot of it. So like us playing this year is really like him doing everything, maneuvering, calling people, getting us in certain events, and then he just dropping it off to me. Hey, coach, now let's make it happen now. And I think that's who we are. You know what I'm saying? Everybody played a role, everybody contribute, you know, and I think for me, like when people, like a lot of people like Paul Biancardi did an interview with me and he was talking to me about like our success. And I was like, well, really, you can't talk about our success without talking about Pete Kaffey. You know, he was like, oh man, Pete Kaffey, man, I know him from back in the day. And I'm like, yeah, like, I don't know what you know about him from back in the day, but I know the guy I know, you know, he amazing. So, I mean, when you speak about compass, you can't say Coach Gipson without mentioning Pete Kaffey. I'm just being honest with you, Jefferson.
You can see the rapport between you guys and the bond that you guys have, and obviously that trickles down to your players. You mentioned it, the culture. That's where it starts at the top, and then it continues to move down, and then goes right back up to the top. And I think your guys' bond and relationship and understanding how you can lean on each other is what's helped you guys build now this powerhouse out in Arizona. Coach Pete, tell me, at what point in the season did you really think like, man, this could be a really good year for us? I mean, obviously you had a really good year the year before and you had high expectations, but there's always that point in time in the year where you're like, man, we could actually be pretty good. Things are looking good for us.
I would say when we went out to a tournament in Arizona, it was called the Border League. It was a big tournament, and we felt like we should have been in that top flight bracket, but you know, for some reason they had us in the back gym. And we got together, myself and Ed was like, hey, it is what it is. You know, I guess we got to prove to people that we belong here. So, you know, the first few games were kind of easy. Then we got to the championship game. Oh no, before they got to the championship game, we played Hillcrest. And it's been kind of like a big old arch rivalry over here in Arizona. It's Hillcrest and Compass. So our kids came together. We won that game. Then we got to another arch rivalry, which is Dream City. And so we were playing those guys. It was a really good game. You know, the last 5 minutes, they kind of ran away with the game. I remember Coach Ed called the timeout, was like, hey, you guys can fold right now, or you guys can keep getting stops, and we'll come back and win this game. And I think it was like a minute or two left in the game. We were up down by 8. Our kids kept getting stopped, and next thing you know, we're down by 2. We came and got foul shooting a 3, hit a couple free throws. Went into overtime, we ended up winning that game. And then that same, like the week later, we played that same team again in our league, the grind session, and they were up the same scenario, up by 10 or 8 with like 50 seconds, and we came back and won that game. So after those 2 games, I was like, yo, we got something special, because the culture, I'm talking about what Ed stands for, and that's like, you know, playing tough, playing together. He doesn't care how many shots you take, but as long as you can play defense, as long as you're coachable, as long as you're going to play hard. And I saw that in our kids, like the resiliency, like, yo, we down by 8 points with like 50 seconds. And you know what I'm saying? The kids are coming together and they're getting stops. They're making big plays after, you know, plays after play. But, you know, after those 2 games, I was like, yo, we got something special. And the rest of the season was like, you know what happened.
That's awesome, man. And so that leads me right into my next question perfectly. So we're looking here at Coach. He's calm, collect. You know, he's got everything in order. I've hung out with him a few times. But when you get on that sideline and you're coaching, man, you are fired up. Like, I was out there and I watched you guys play. I can't remember who you guys were playing, Coach Pete, but the other team came in and I was like, man, these are some big boys. I think the team had like a 7'2" and they had a couple 6'7" guards. And I'm like, I hadn't seen your team yet. And I'm like, ooh, this could be tight. And then all of a sudden, your guys' team ran out. I said, oh, my goodness, that's a professional team coming out right now. and just how orderly and professional they were behaving and going through warmups and the professionalism on your guys' sideline. And then when the game started, the intensity from, Coach Gipson and everything else, I mean, you guys blew them out the water, but I was amazed at the level of basketball, even compared to myself when I was playing high school, college, and professionally myself. But Coach, tell us a little bit about your philosophies, some of the strategies and things, and how you coach. I know Coach Pete talked a little bit about defense and all that good stuff, but go a little bit more in depth on what you believe in and what you teach your players.
I would say first off, it's the discipline part for us. Like the game that you probably came to. Usually when we go to a game, I literally never come out the locker room before the game start. And that's a testament to Coach Pete and our assistant coach, Coach Pope, that ended up going on the University of Portland to be an assistant coach. Like, they literally get our guys out there that we're going hard. Like, they mentally locking in. A lot of the drills that we do in warm-ups are kind of what people didn't realize. We actually running our plays out there, like Pete.
Yeah.
and people literally just sometimes people just don't pay attention to warm-up. So some of the movements, the shots where we getting the shots at, like, they just working on them in warm-up. So once the game start, pretty much like our guys know, defense is where we're gonna hang our head at. For us, like, philosophy-wise, we want to push the ball to the baseline, meet guys outside the paint so they don't get paint touches, and limit three-point shot attempts. And I just feel like, if we do that, we always got an opportunity to be in the game. And offensively, man, we just want to share the ball. We gonna run some sets. And I think I grew up this year, even down the stretch. Coach Pete told me, he said, "Hey, man, the last 5 minutes of the game, you got to put that ball in Tata hand." He said, "Forget all the plays. Let's let him make plays." And I grew up because I allowed that kid to do that. And but I think that's a testament of who we are, as a team. That's a part of our philosophy. It ain't about one person. It ain't about the head coach. It's about everybody as a whole. So me being able to listen to my assistant coaches and say, "Hey, man, well, you got a point." Even if I don't necessarily, Jefferson, agree with it. Pete know that. I'm a humble myself. And I think that's kind of like as the year go on, as we get guys in, as we build our culture and we show them how to do this, if you look at how we play, it's so unselfish. We yell at guys sometimes for you making too many extra passes. And I think that's who we are, toughness, being competitive, sharing the ball, and being humble. That's it in a nutshell. It ain't nothing special, Jefferson, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, whatever you guys are doing over there, I mean, it's working. When I watched that game, I was like, I told Coach Pete after, I said, "Man, I think in my prime, I don't even know if I could play for you guys. I don't even know if I could score in these dudes out here." It was just insane to see the level that you guys have those players playing at. And on top of that, the level of basketball and the skill level these days, which is obviously super important. Now, here at Dr. Dish Basketball, that's what we strive to do is, give players, give coaches, trainers, parents the opportunity to take their players to the next level, give players the opportunity to be the best versions of themselves. And what you guys are doing over there with your training, your practices, the pro-like mentality, all the knowledge that you guys give your players, it gives them the opportunity to succeed, not only in life, but on the basketball court as well. You guys got a Dr. Dish CT over there. I think it was maybe 2 years ago now, maybe a year and a half or so ago, and got that machine over there. Tell me a little bit about the machine and kind of how you guys are using it and how it helps your players up that way.
Well, the machine, has been a lifesaver, especially for myself and Coach Gipson. We both got kids, and we're both parents, and we don't have time to be in the gym 24/7. So, Dr. Dish, that machine allowed us to pretty much monitor the kids, their workouts. It has 150 workouts built in for some of the top trainers in the game. So it's easy for our kids to go in there, and it's Bluetooth compatible, so they can just go in there, turn their music on, pick a workout, and just get on there and shoot. And we can monitor it by using their phone number. So, the Dish, Dr. Dish has been something very, very, very instrumental in this whole thing. We shot the ball really well this year. A lot of our guys, the kids at the team house, they They got a gym, one of our other schools kind of right by the house. So they were always in the gym on that dish, getting up shots. So, you talk about a game changer where you don't have to be physically there to monitor these kids or rebound for them or whatever like that. And just talk about, even trying to, I know back in the day with the old dish or whatever, they had like those things where you can go watch like a Drew Helen or Pat the Rock where, they can, get some ideas on how to go about your workout. So I think that was very, 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 it was like I said, it was a game changer for us, for a kid to walk in the gym and say, hey, man, they put my music on. This is the work I want to do. And then we're able to track it down too. So that was really, really.
That's crazy because, like, as you know, back in the day, we just didn't have none of this stuff. So even for me as a former player and a guy that works with players and, was doing all of this, I'm even amazed at some of the stuff that we're coming out with and we continue to come out with. Just the resources and training capabilities these machines have to help players take their game to the next level. And like you said, the coaches don't necessarily have to be there. You can still hold the players accountable. They can do some fun things, get some shots up, and obviously take their game to the next level if they want to. So looking forward to seeing, how much that machine obviously continues to help your guys in your program. And obviously that's a piece in, the success that you guys have had. But again, that culture and everything you're doing, it just trickles from top to bottom. Now, with that being said, you guys had an unbelievably successful year. And one of the toughest things to do is, do it again the following year or even be better. When you get close to winning a national championship or you win a national championship, it's hard to do that again. And the last thing coaches want to do is take 15 steps backwards. So, Coach Gipson, tell me a little bit about how you guys are planning on, keeping the momentum, keeping the speed going into next year. Some of the players that you're looking to potentially bring in, maybe more so just the type of player you're looking to bring in. And then obviously some of the goals that you have for next year as well.
I think the first thing is that we got a couple guys that's returning that we also make sure that we'll continue to develop them, because having a couple guys that's going to return with us that actually aid and help in the kind of building the culture with the new guys. So, I mean, making sure those guys get better at their weaknesses and everything, but also, man, the recruiting. I think Coach P does an amazing job of identifying like guys that like, I think he understands, like, he don't just go get talent, but he get guys that fit me, because I can be a little different for some people, and Coach Pete, man, I know you got countless of stories telling me like, yo, bro, you got to calm down. You got to calm down.
And Coach is so right. So right now I'm literally, when I recruit a kid and I'm talking to their family or talking to their mom or dad or even talking to the kid after the first two conversations, I'm like, nah, that ain't going to work. Ed ain't gonna have it. Because Coach Ed is different, right? He's a man of faith. And if you talk about that culture, man, you talk about a guy that before every practice, we spent 10 minutes talking about just life and just like how to just be a young athlete in this world, or just somebody that's trying to make it, right? And using basketball as a tool to do that. We pray before every practice, even before every game. So, so when we're recruiting some of these guys, obviously you got to be able to dribble the ball, you got to be able to dunk the ball, you got to be able to shoot the basketball, you got to have adequate size, you know what I'm saying? So we know all of those good stuff, but then it comes down to the character part. Are you coachable? Can you take yelling? Because Coach Gipson, as you saw this year, he's an intense coach. He all his players love him. He loves his player, but he gonna shoot you straight. So as we're recruiting kids, I don't want to go after a kid. Yeah, I want the top player, but I also want a kid that's willing to grow. Because if you look at our track record, guys like Jabari Walker, that's playing for your former head coach over in Colorado, he was a kid that came to us and he didn't have no offer or nothing like that. And we were able to build that kid up. Another kid, Booth Gazis from Minnesota, had a lot of Division II offers. We were able to build him up. A kid like Frankie Collins that came to us, he had some offers, but he was never ranked. And then he left us as a top 40 player. Same thing you can say about a kid like Maxwell Lewis or Josh Primo, who's on NBA draft boards. Or now you can say that about Tata Washington, who started at 148. Now he's getting offers by Kentucky, overseas, G League. So when we go after these players, is there a room for development? not just from a skill standpoint, but from a character standpoint. Are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to get cussed out by Coach Gipson? Are you willing to get loved by Coach P, Coach Gipson, and, Zah Owens and Rhonda Owens and Swin Anderson, our whole organization, and like you said, now we got coaches that are coming in and that are going out too. So are you willing to receive the blessings that we're going to, pour into you? So this thing is just like this for us now. We got it. Ed's like my big brother. He's like a mentor to me. So when I'm going through whatever, I'm always calling him like I do with you too, Jefferson. So now I know what he expects. So it's easier for me to, get on the phone with a player and be like, you're not the right fit. I don't care if you're number one in the country. So, but we gonna be nice. We got some heat coming, like you said. We got some guys from this past year that are gonna be returning. Makai Mason, Nick Pickens, Cedric Nagana, and our big boy Drummond, and then we got a couple guys that from our younger teams, and we got some heat coming. I can't tell you right now, Jay.
I know you're working in the background here.
We working.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. So to get out of here, I'm gonna throw you guys for a loop here quick. I'm gonna ask you a series of questions. You need to answer right off the bat. Okay, so you got to answer right off the bat. I'll ask the question. Coach A, you're going to answer, and then Pete, you answer right after. I'll ask the next question, and then we repeat. So it's kind of like a rapid fire here right now. Okay, I'm just more so interested in a few of these things myself. So, favorite player currently in the NBA and why?
I would say KD. To be honest with you, I love his versatility. I love his length, what he could bring to the game, and I like the fact that he one of the few players in the NBA to still shoot mid-range jump shots. So KD would be mine.
LeBron James, I just love what he stands for. I mean, he's very active in the community. I mean, he's fighting for justice, and then talk about a basketball player that can do it all. For his career, he's averaging over 25, over 8 assists, over 7 rebounds, and he went to Cleveland and he won at Cleveland. He went to Miami. He won it with the Lakers. He's just a winner. So, LeBron James.
Next question. Who do you think is going to win the NBA championship this year?
They look like Brooklyn right now. I know they had LaMarcus Aldridge just retired a few minutes ago, but I think Brooklyn got it. It's going to be hard to stop with James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and KD. Then you bring, they got some good role players. It's going to be hard to beat them. But if AD and LeBron healthy, it's going to be a problem. I tell you that.
I'm a LeBron guy right now, so I'm rolling with the Lakers. I feel like there's nothing wrong with the ankle. He's just resting. He's old, so he's putting his body for the playoffs. So with the Lakers.
You might have to think about this one for a second here, but what player currently in college basketball that will probably go into the draft this year do you think will make the biggest impact next year in the NBA, and why?
That's a tough one. In college right now, man, that's tough. That's tough, Jefferson, because I the guy that I felt like that would make an impact in the NBA actually in the G League, and that was Jalen Green. That's
okay,
who
fair enough, yeah, or G League, I guess.
I would say Jalen Green, just because I know me and Coach Pete got to see the kid up close. I think he's one of the few kids that I can say that's ready for stardom. I mean, just watching how they paraded him all around the country all last year. And like every single night the kid showed up, and he put on the show. It's like, that's hard to do. That's a lot of pressure on you at 17, 18 years old. And so to see now that, all right, he went to the G League, started off a little slow, and then picked his game up. I feel like that kid ready to be the franchise player for some NBA team.
I'll say Jalen Green, but college basketball, I said the guy from where we're from, Jalen Suggs. I watched him grow up. Talk about a winner. He was a two-sport athlete. Always been elite. I've been hearing about him since he was in the 8th grade. I mean, you saw what he did with Gonzaga. Talk about modern day point guard that can score, can facilitate, and just super, super tough. I like Suggs, man. I like him a lot. I think he's going to transition to be an all-star.
So not that it matters.
Hey, Coach Pete. Hey, you're right, man. Suggs didn't come to my mind, but I love him, bro. You're right.
He seems like the type of player that would fit in your system. But
yeah, he's tough. Shoot the three ball. Just a tough kid, man. Like a Tata.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not that it matters or anything like that, but my opinion, I think, and I'm going on record because this is recorded. I'm going on record. I think Cade Cunningham might have a chance to. Obviously, he's slotted number one in all the mock drafts and all that good stuff. But I do think that he has the potential, if he can put it all together with his size and overall skill, to be a good player. I think it also depends on where he goes. So we'll see. We'll have to see with that. But guys, I definitely appreciate you guys taking the time. I know earlier on before this, I was pestering you a little bit and getting on you, Coach Gip, a little bit about coming out here and doing some film with us and get some drills. I know you got some gems back there, and I want the whole world to see. So I'm gonna get you to get out here to Minneapolis, and we'll do some filming. Bring Coach P. Obviously, if people don't know, he's from here, where I'm from too as well. So looking forward to getting you out here, Coach, getting some great content for everybody that's watching. Coaches, trainers, parents, players. Be on the lookout for some good stuff. If you haven't heard of AZ Compass Prep, hopefully you have now. Check them out. Watch their games when you can. They're doing some fantastic things over that way. I'm just super proud of these guys and looking forward to see what they do next year. And for more great content and all that good stuff, like I always say, you can follow us at Dr. Dish B-Ball on all social media networks. On YouTube, we have a ton of skills and drills that are coming out. Pete or Coach Ed, do you guys want to throw out maybe your guys' handle on social as well?
Oh man, I gotta go look at mine. Mine is on Instagram. You can add me at P_Kaffey09. That's my IG. On Twitter, you can follow our AZ Compass page, which is at AZ Compass_prep. You can follow us there. And then my personal Twitter is at Pete Kaffey, just at Pete Kaffey.
Cool.
My Twitter is at Ed_Gipson 24 on Twitter. Then on Instagram, it is Coach Gip 24. You can follow me on there. That'd be perfect. I'm not heavy on there, but I usually follow the leader, Coach Pete, when it comes to social media. He the guru of that for me, so that's all I got.
Well, if anybody wants to ask these guys questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I can always get in contact with them. And again, guys, really appreciate you jumping on and looking forward to this summer while you guys continue to prepare. And then obviously I'll be out in Arizona checking you guys out next year as well.
Hey, Jefferson, we need another, because the program is growing. We got multiple teams. I need more than one or two right now. I got 2 currently, but I need 4. We need 4.
You know what?
So
I'll talk to my people over here. We are going to get you taken care of, bro. I promise you that. We'll talk after this for sure.
Thank you.
Right,
Thanks for having us.
Yep.